Welcome back. The RNC Search Committee is expected in Nashville tomorrow. They'll tour the city just like they did here in Milwaukee last week. Milwaukee, Nashville, and Salt Lake City are the three finalists to host the 2024 Republican National Convention. Reince Priebus greeted RNC officials when they arrived at Fiserv Forum after a whirlwind tour of the city. And Priebus, the former RNC chair and White House chief of staff during the Trump administration, is joining us now. So welcome back to Upfront. It's been a while. Thanks for being with us.
It's been a long time. Thank you so much for having me.
So the reporting we're hearing is that Milwaukee is the front runner. Do you think that's true?
Well, I mean, if I were still the RNC chair, I'd definitely pick Milwaukee. I think it is the front runner for a couple reasons. Number one, Milwaukee wants the convention. I think they need the convention. It's a battleground state. It's turnkey, meaning the DNC convention just took, I guess theoretically took place in Milwaukee. Didn't actually happen. But the upside of that is all those donors, all those businesses that pledged to the DNC, a year and a half ago, they're pretty much on the line for the RNC. So that type of setup and the fact that Milwaukee's turnkey and all the other reasons I brought up is one of the real reasons why I think Milwaukee would be a great pick.
What has your communication been like with committee members recently?
Well, they were really impressed. And I have to say that the Visit Milwaukee did a really nice job of the tour. They were treated to a great dinner by Paul Bartolotta at the Lake Park Bistro. I mean, who doesn't like that, right? So they had dinner there. They had morning, Bloody Marys at Potawatomi. They went to Riverside. They went to Summerfest. They went to Fiserv. It was an amazing day and a half.
I saw that you even had some good things to say about acting Mayor Cavalier Johnson. He's a Democrat. What impressed you so much about what he said?
Well, he came into the dinner at Lake Park Bistro and gave a speech. He talked about 9/11, the impressions that he had of George W. Bush at the time, the fact that that was one of the main motivators in his life for public service. He pledged as a Democrat mayor to be a great partner with the RNC and to continue the tradition of Democrat mayors partnering with the Republican National Committee. And he did it in a gracious, elegant way that I thought the committee members were really impressed. And by the way, that's what you need from your mayor. I mean, it's generally pretty nonpartisan, and I thought that he did a nice job.
If Wisconsin lands the convention, will you chair the host committee?
Well, that's what it looks like. I mean, so if we do get the convention, I'll probably do that. But obviously, it's something I think we all would do for our own community. I mean, some people are going to contribute when maybe they would rather use their money elsewhere, but they know that it's important to the community. So we have people in our area, Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, up north, out in Waukesha, where we band together in Wisconsin.
What are Milwaukee's challenges when you stack up the city compared to Nashville and Salt Lake City?
Well, look, I think Milwaukee's a great party city, but you know that people view Nashville in a way of, the bridal showers and the bands. But you know what I found out as chair of the RNC? These sort of permanent party cities sound great, but they don't really work for conventions. And, we went to Cleveland in 2016. It was perfect because we were it for the town. It was the story. We felt special going to a city like that. And I think you'd get that in Milwaukee. The problem with places like Nashville is they don't need you. In fact, in some cities like that, Nashville, Las Vegas, New Orleans, you probably cost them money because you've got to come in with a Secret Service gate, and some of those bars that are around that Broadway in Nashville, they're going to have a hard time. So those kinds of cities always sound neat to go to, but for conventions, I found that they don't really work well for a political convention with $50 million of security. It can be very complicated.
And Wisconsin has election investigations going on in the state right now. Do you think that's a reason why the party is considering having the convention here?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, look, there's election integrity issues all over the country. I think that is completely beside the point.
At the convention, do you think that President Trump will be the party nominee?
I don't really know. I mean, certainly, I think if we were making that decision today, he probably would be. I don't know whether he's going to run. I think he probably will run. But, you know, it's a long way away. It's anybody's call. And there's a lot of people in our party that I know are snooping around. But so is President Trump. So we'll see.
All right. Reince Priebus, thank you.
Thank you.
Up next, Wisconsinites at CPAC.
We got to talk about big ideas. We got to be on the side of young people and entrepreneurs and people want to start up their own businesses.